If you're looking to learn how to rollerblade or inline skate, then look no further. If this is your first time, it could be daunting. I mean, the first time you ever put on your first pair of skates, you may realize that it's a little bit more difficult than you thought. That's why in this video, I'm gonna go over some simple exercises you may already know and apply them to skating so that you can quickly master the sport. Now, there are a lot of great tutorials out there, but none of them breaks everything down into simple, easy to digest movements like I'm about to do. Now, before you put your skates on, the first thing you have to know is that skating is all about smoothly transferring and distributing your weight appropriately. Now, with that in mind, I'm gonna simplify striding, cruising position, braking, and turning in a way that anyone can understand. Once you become comfortable with these movements, you'll have all the building blocks you need to become a pro. Now, I know you're itching to get on your blades, but if you take the time and practice these exercises, your brain will start to develop muscle memory before you even put on your skates. Now, the first thing you'll need to know is your stride. This is gonna get you moving and get you going and getting up to speed, literally. Now, to get you striding, first of all, practice standing on one foot. Now, notice that your foot is directly under your body and your weight is evenly distributed all the way from your heels up to your toes. Now, take that one foot and evenly and smoothly transfer your weight to your other foot. Just keep doing that until you feel comfortable. Now, I'm gonna make it a little bit more difficult for you. Once you're on that one foot, kind of do a one-footed squat. Evenly transfer your weight and squat with the other foot. You wanna keep it subtle and slightly bend at the knees. All right, feeling like you got that? Good, let's move on. Now, the next exercise is a lunge. Now, I'm sure we're all familiar with that. We've all done it in gym class. Easy, simple lunge. Now, don't worry about getting super deep into it. Don't worry about that. Just keep it nice and subtle. You don't want to burn out your quads and glutes too early on before you even get on your skates. Now, we're going to tweak that lunge by lunging a little bit outwards, a little bit less than a 45-degree angle. Now we're gonna combine all of our exercises. Notice how I evenly transfer my weight from one foot to the other, making sure to balance on one foot at a time. Now, believe it or not, you're already striding before you even put on your skates. You're already miles ahead of any other beginner. Now take everything we learned and apply those to the skates. Now here is a proper stride. Watch how I smoothly transition my weight from one leg to the other, lunging into each leg. You can see where the one-footed squat comes into play as I balance on one foot at a time. Now, you're probably wondering why I had you practice that weird 45-degree lunge when it looks like I'm just performing a normal lunge. Well, notice how when I push myself forward with my back leg, it glides outward at an angle. This is the same motion as that 45-degree lunge. Notice how I kind of flick my toes as well. This causes just an extra boost, which gives you a little bit more push and power. Now that you're striding and you're gaining speed, at some point you're just gonna wanna cruise, feel the breeze through your hair. Now, the proper cruising position is what's called the predator position. It's almost like a squat, and you're gonna wanna keep your feet scissored, back straight, butt out, hands forward, so to catch you in case you fall. And your weight is evenly distributed amongst your feet. This is going to give you a nice and stable position so you're not going to fall forward or back. That's why your feet are staggered. To catch you, if you hit a crack, you can catch yourself with one foot, or if this foot catches a crack, you could compensate for that. Now, here's a close-up on your scissored feet. Again, it'll catch you. If you fall back, you can catch yourself. If you fall forward, you can catch yourself. It's foolproof, man. It's foolproof. I tell you, it's foolproof. Now again, let's take that to the skates. Now it's the exact same thing, except just on skates. I'm bending at the knees with my butt out and my back straight, and my weight is evenly distributed between my feet.
Now that you're rolling, you're probably gonna wanna stop at some point. Now using your heel brake is okay, there's no shame in that. We've all been there. Now if you're really not sure how to use the heel brake, I got you. You wanna get in your predator position and keep the foot with the heel brake as your leading foot. You're essentially gonna wanna lift your leading foot, keeping that one-legged squat, and essentially dig the heel into the ground. You don't wanna transfer your weight onto the heel brake, because then you're just gonna fall, you're gonna get imbalanced, and it's no fun. Again, keep that weight on that one foot, keeping that one-footed squat, and dig the heel brake into the ground. Now at some point you're gonna wanna lose that heel brake because it's gonna get in the way of more technical tricks. So how else do you stop? The T-stop, or the T-brake, however you like to call it. Now this is when you brake using your rear foot and dragging your back foot along, creating a T shape. Now remember your lunges? Great. This time we're gonna do a backwards lunge. Instead of stepping forward, you're gonna wanna step backwards. Once you get the hang of that, try to lunge without putting your foot on the ground. Now at this point, you're already basically doing a T-stop. Now just one more thing though, you're gonna wanna make sure that you rotate not only your foot out, but also your hips. Your hips are very important here. An exercise I like to do that to open up my hips, I don't know what they're called, but it's kind of like this. Now this is a little bit difficult, you're gonna be really imbalanced, and I mean, this is 2 years of doing this exercise. I can even go a little bit out. You probably won't be this open, your hips probably won't be this open at first, but just practice opening up those hips. Go as far as you can without pushing it.
It shouldn't hurt when you do it, but it's normal to feel a little bit of tightness, especially at first. Just practice stretching, opening up those hips.
I also like to add a little squat. Now all you gotta do is combine your backwards lunge with that hip opening exercise. That's gonna look a little something like this. Now again, you're gonna be in that predator position, lifting your leg, keeping that weight on your back leg, opening up your hips, and setting it down, and push into the ground as you go. Now you're gonna tweak it a little bit depending on your speed, but for now, just practice that backward hip lunge.
Again, we're gonna balance on one leg, opening up your hips. This is really important. Notice how my knee and my thigh are pointing toward the camera. Now throughout the T-stop, I am keeping that weight on that front foot. I'm not putting any weight on that back foot, I'm just simply dragging it.
Perfect, you're doing fantastic. I can see you through the camera lens, you're doing great. Now that we're comfortable with that, let's take it to the skates.
Now you could see all of our T-brake exercises in action here. You could see me rotate my hips outward as I take a backward lunge. Notice how my hips open up toward the camera. Now I'm not distributing my weight onto my back foot, I'm driving it into the ground using my adductor muscles. Now a lot of people starting off will have trouble because they'll start to rotate as they attempt the T-stop, causing them to lose their balance like this. To help with that, keep all of your weight on your front foot and bend the ankle of your dragging foot by lifting your toes. This will keep your dragging foot from catching an edge and twisting you around to your doom.
Now that you could stride, you could cruise, you could brake, let's focus a little bit of our attention onto turning. Now this is going to be a little bit more complicated. There's not really any exercises you could do off the skates, but think of it like this. I have like a little analogy I like to think of. You know how when you're in a car and you turn left and your body feels that force that wants you to fling outward to the right? That's kind of what's going to happen here. Now think of when you're on a bike, when you turn left, your whole body kind of tilts and somehow you don't fall. That's because when you lean, you're sort of compensating for that outward force, you know? If you try to turn straight up, you're just gonna fly out and it's not gonna be fun. Okay, I lied. There is actually an exercise you could do before turning on your skates. I'm editing right now, so excuse the lighting, but let me show you. So for now, kind of get comfortable doing one of these.
For the sake of the exercise, it's really simple. You're simply just lifting your toes. I could have filmed this better, but you could see that my hips shift backwards, but my shoulders essentially stay where they are. Practice doing this until you feel comfortable. Now instead of lifting your toes straight back, we're gonna lift our feet side to side. Again, shifting your hips, not your shoulders. Practice doing this until you feel comfortable. Now I'm gonna go more in depth in this in a minute, but for now I'm just gonna skip ahead real quick. So when you wanna turn left, you're going to want to lead with your left foot. Same when you turn right, you're gonna want to lead with your right foot. So with that in mind, we're gonna combine our foot exercises. In this instance, I would be turning left since my left foot is leading. Now, I'm not lifting my feet straight up and I'm not lifting them side to side, but sort of back and to the left. Same thing for if you're turning right, keep your right foot leading and lift back and to the right. Again, practice this until you feel comfortable. Now there are three main components that go into turning: upper body, lower body, and weight distribution. The way I think about turning is that my upper body guides my lower body. To continue the car analogy, my upper body acts as the steering wheel and my lower body acts as the wheels. So to steer in my desired direction, I want to look where I'm going by turning my head in that direction I want to go. Reinforce this by rotating your shoulders. When you're turning on your skates, you want to turn your whole body, not just your skates. Now to turn your lower body, like I said, lead with your left foot to turn left and lead with your right foot to turn right. This will create a path for your feet to easily follow. Now distribute your weight appropriately. This is where our exercise and the car analogy really comes into play. For example, let's say you want to turn left. To do that, lead with your left foot and lead into the turn by moving your weight back and to the left, just like in our exercise. This is to compensate for that outward force. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that our turning exercise is not a perfect one-to-one application because we neglected our upper body and there was no force applied to you. It was only a demonstration on where you're going to want to put your weight. Think of it as though you're pivoting on your back two wheels. Now it will be kind of weird being on wheels for the first time, but I promise it's one of those things where the more you skate, the more you'll feel it out and start to become acquainted with the physics of everything. And just like in physics class, we learned that what goes up must come down. It's okay to fall. It will happen. Just try not to get discouraged if you do. The only thing that matters is that you get back up and keep trying. Now I know this video might have been information overload, but if that's the case, don't rush it. Just take one thing at a time. Maybe today try to nail down your cruising position, and tomorrow really try to get those turns down. Just be patient with yourself and the process. I promise the more you skate, the faster you'll see results. Now hopefully I boiled everything down in simple, easy to learn movements and helped make this sport just a little bit more accessible. If this video helped you, please leave a like, and if you have any questions or want me to go a little bit more in depth on a specific movement, please leave a comment below. In future videos I could go over more intermediate or advanced techniques, so if that's something you're interested in, please let me know. But in the meantime, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you don't miss an upload, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Go out and skate. You're doing great. I saw you. I saw the whole thing. It was fantastic through the camera lens. I could see it, dude. That's incredible. Did you just do that right now? Did you just learn that? That's crazy. Okay.